I'm joined now by Brendan Clark-Smith, who's a Conservative MP for Bassett Law, of course, and a key voice on the Common Sense Group. Brendan, thanks for joining us. Always a pleasure to talk to you. So we learned in the last few moments there about the red lines your Prime Minister has laid down to stop people tinkering from both the right and the left of the party. Will that satisfy you or will that annoy you guys?
I think the main thing is we want a piece of legislation that actually works, and people are sick and tired of seeing planes on the runway, people being dragged off by the leftie-lawyers and so on, and we've passed two pieces of legislation already. We've had the Illegal Migration Act, we've had the Nationality and Borders Act, which Labour voted against all of those about 60-odd times now. Keir Starmer and Labour have tried to stop this. We want something that works. So I think where there is actually a lot of consensus, wherever you are in the Conservative Party and whatever views you have, let's remember nobody actually voted against it last night. The disagreement is actually how we can best make it work.
And I guess the thing is, you abstained after a bacon butty at breakfast, trying to keep things nice and calm, and that worked to a point. But I'm assuming, Brendan, that you guys in the Common Sense Group and the ERG and other factions on the right wanted to beef up this bill a bit to make sure that it wouldn't be possible for people to contest it, for asylum seekers to claim their human rights are being infringed. And I guess my question is, will Rishi's red lines defang that? Will it effectively mean you can't have what you wanted?
Well, I think this is the issue. So not everybody abstained. Some people voted for it. Now, this, of course, it's only the second reading. So second reading, the intention of the bill, we agree. We want these flights to go off to Rwanda. Where the disagreement has been is maybe some of the technical elements of that. Now, when that comes back in January, as you've said, there are people who think there are things that you could do to improve that. There has been some discussion that the government would be open to doing that. Obviously, common sensors, the people on the right, people such as myself, of course, we want to make sure that it's actually done. And then on the other side of the party, there are people who want to make sure we actually honour our international obligations and so on as well. But I think if you look at the guidance that the ERG brought out was really, really interesting. They said that not everything we want to do is necessarily within the scope of this bill. So we're actually constrained with what we can actually do. And you look at things that we actually are party to, not just the ECHR, but the Human Rights Act from 1998 that Tony Blair brought in and that I would call absolute constitutional vandalism. Now, really, we need to replace that. To do that, you're going to have that in a manifesto. That's going to have to go in a general election. You're going to have to get it through the Lords. But in the meantime, we really need to get those flights off. So that is what this legislation's about. And those are the parameters that we've got to work within. But certainly, anything we can do to strengthen that, that'd be absolutely fantastic.
And I guess the key line that's aimed at yourself and the ERG and the Common Sense Group is it won't collapse the scheme. And I guess what that means, I'm reading between the lines here, is if you push for further beefing up of those rights to stop people appealing against it, then that may mean that the One Nation Conservatives aren't happy and they will throw the toys out the pram. And so what Rishi's trying to do here effectively is kind of crack his whip with his chair in the air and keep you all in the ring together. But is that going to work? Is it possible that a plan that seemed even last night out of reach to please yourself and the One Nation Group can be kept in check by these new red lines?
I do think it is possible that we can come to some sort of compromise there. And again, everybody agrees with the general principle of getting these flights off. Now, as the problem is, and what I suppose the One Nation Group would argue, is that you're probably going to open yourself up to further legal challenges if you cut off the right of any appeal. Whereas, more my side, we would probably say that, well, you know, we've seen it before, people being dragged off of these flights all of the time, and they'll find some reason or some sort of excuse that they'll drag out, and then they'll all be trying it. So what we want to make sure is that the people that do appeal and do have a chance to appeal, they really are genuine reasons, and the vast majority on the people on those flights actually do go to Rwanda, because it's not the number that we actually send to Rwanda, it's the fact that we get that plane off, it's shown as a deterrent, and people know that they can't cheat our system anymore.
OK, Brendan Clark-Smith, thank you for joining us on the show. We avoided a nightmare before Christmas. You might want to get some rest. I'm assuming it's going to be quite a lively New Year.